Come with me on a journey to organization where we will build real freedom through time management and reducing our things so that we're no longer a slave to them. Yesterday was day 8 of the Omer, and today is Gevurah Shebegvura, restraint within restraint. Yesterday, I asked you to go ahead and gather up all your lists, and as a bonus, I told you to put them all into one piece of paper or into a spreadsheet. If you didn't do that, no worries. Set your timer for 15 minutes, and let's do that today. Today, gather all of your lists together, consolidate them into one list, and dump any more things that you can think of that need to get done onto that list. There are 2 methods to managing your to-do list that I really like. The first is the one that I use. I use a notebook, like I mentioned yesterday, where I put in all of my tasks to do for the week. At the end of the week, whatever is left over, I transfer to a new sheet of paper with only the tasks that are new, plus the ones that I didn't complete from last week. The way that I arrange this is I have a column for my work things and a column for my personal things, and then maybe some things that fall into a miscellaneous sort of category. And then within the work and the personal, I categorize within those categories. So for work, I might do it by project. For personal, I'll do it within like a shopping list and tasks that I need to get done around the house and things like that. The key for me is really writing it down by hand. I find that there is something in the knowledge transfer between getting it from my brain to the piece of paper by my hand that makes it easier for me to remember. But the key really is just to get it out of your brain and onto the piece of paper, because once you have to stop being responsible for remembering it and the paper or the spreadsheet can remember it for you, it makes it a lot easier to manage the list because you're not always trying to remember what you might have forgot. The second most efficient way I find for doing a to-do list, and this is really good if you've never categorized your to-do list before, is to divide your paper into 4 categories. The top left is for things that are urgent and important. This means that they are time sensitive and they really need to be done quickly. You can't really put them off. In the top right corner, I always put things that are important, but not necessarily urgent. They need to get done at some point in the next couple of days, but it's not more important than anything else and it's less time sensitive. In the bottom left corner, I put tasks that are not urgent and not important. A bonus for today is if there are any tasks that have been on the list for a long time, exercise Gevurah within Gevurah, restraint within restraint, to get those things off of your list. Restrain yourself from keeping them on your list and take them off your list. Just say no. Things that you would put on your list here are, again, things that need to get done, but they're not time sensitive. You might need to apply some sort of artificial deadline, like they need to be done by the end of the week or the end of next week. And you want to note that when you're putting the task down, like a potential due date. It's not something that's hard and fast. And in the bottom right corner, I always like to put things that are on my list that I can ask somebody else to do. I can either outsource or delegate them, or I can automate them. Now, we'll talk more about automation later, but outsourcing and delegation are not exactly the same thing. Delegation is something you can ask someone else in your family to help you with, like maybe fold the laundry or do the dishes. Outsourcing is paying for service. If you can outsource something, that's great. But if you can't, see what you can delegate. And if not, see if there's something you can automate or at least take down a notch. For example, if all of your clothes are clean and put away, even if they're not perfectly folded, is that good enough? I think yes. Not everybody will agree with me, but if all the dishes are washed and sitting in the drying rack, is that good enough? Yes, they don't all have to be put away. You can put them away when they dry. As long as they're clean, that's key, right? So where can you, at least if you can't delegate, outsource, or automate, at least where can you be satisfied with good enough that the task is mostly done? Here's a pro tip. I already mentioned this, but it's really important, so I'm going to say it again. Get everything out of your head. It doesn't need to be on your head. If it's in your head, you're less likely to remember it. Getting it down onto the piece of paper is going to be really helpful for you for so many reasons. So just put it on the paper. Get your to-do list. Another important thing for today is put your list in one place. If you think of something that you need to write down in the middle of the day, what I like to do is send myself an email or a text message. This way I have it all in one place, all of the thoughts outside of my to-do list. But as soon as I get to my to-do list, I can add it just by checking one place. And then I don't have a lot of scattered notes all over the place. Today, please remember our brothers and sisters in captivity and our soldiers who protect us, because they don't have the agency to manage their to-do lists. So have gratitude for the fact that you do. And have a beautiful day full of Gevurah Shebegvura.